My people, hello! How are you? Welcome to another, is this a Makeup Monday video or a Chit Chat Get Ready With Me? It's either a Makeup Monday video or it is a life chat and Chit Chat Get Ready With Me sort of life update slash I'll show you what I'm wearing these days on my face video. I have you set up in my tripod here, so bear with me. The angle is probably not the best, the lighting is probably not the best, but we will work with what we have right now. I'm wearing my cat ears, which I really like. It pulls my hair back, helps me. Any case, welcome back. I'm Jennifer Mata-McMahon. If you're new, welcome, and let's get into it. Okie doke, so I'm just gonna do my makeup here and chit chat with you. I've been reading a lot of spirituality books. If you don't know, spirituality is my area of research interest. I'm an associate professor. I work at a university, and I'm an early childhood educator, but my line of research, inquiry, and scholarship is children's spirituality. So the children's component comes from my early childhood educator and teacher educator for early childhood teacher educator background, and my interest in spirituality comes from a lifelong search for understanding the spiritual realm and trying to find and discover, I guess, uncover, or maybe even remember my purpose in life, my spiritual purpose, my spiritual quest in life. And so children's spirituality is my line of research inquiry. I'm using the Becca, what is this, Backlight primer. It's the moisturizing one, the purple one. Instant Complexion Reflects. First Light Priming Filter from Becca. Okay, but I also need a blurring, I think I also need a blurring primer. So I'm going to use my e.l.f. one. This is a Prep and Blur stick from e.l.f. and it helps blur the pores, fill in the pores, blur the imperfections. Marvelous. So in any case, I've been on a kick recently. I go through these every now and then. And being interested in aspects of spirituality, I've always been interested in spirituality, but I feel like the past 8 years living in Chicago have veered me from my spiritual quest and my studying and being sort of in tune with spirituality, even though that is my academic field of inquiry. So I've been more preoccupied in the past 8 years in Chicago with, going through approaching spirituality from an academic perspective and looking at literature and reading books and writing and publishing on spirituality, but from an academic perspective. And in doing so, I feel like I've been not really taking care of myself spiritually, because I've veered from that a bit. I've been getting back to it now, and I think it's a combination of a few things. One of them being that I am alone here. So Mike is in Chicago, meaning that every minute that I am at home, I get to decide what I want to spend my time on without having to negotiate what somebody else wants to spend their time on, or having to spend time together doing something that is not necessarily my first choice, right? So that has opened up the possibilities for me to really invest my time in whatever I want. And what I really like investing my time on is reading and writing and focusing that aspect on spiritual growth. And because of that, I've had the time to invest in this. But the other component I think is also playing into this is location wise. And I truly believe that there are some areas, geographical areas, that are more in sync with your energy of vibration, and thus lend themselves to help you, to support you in whatever you want to dedicate your time to, right? And I think that spiritually, for me, the East Coast is my home, is where I feel like I can truly be who I am, be in tune with who I am. And I think that's why for me New York is home, and every time I go to New York I feel like, oh, I've arrived, you know, like it's like I'm home. And I'm feeling like that here as well. I feel like I belong more so in the place I'm working at right now, and I feel like I belong more in this atmosphere, in this, you know, geographical location, more so than I did in Chicago or in the Midwest. And I think that that has been opening up opportunities for me to get in touch with my spiritual side, with my spiritual realm more. And it's been awesome. And I've been realizing that right now, that I've been back, I'm back to my roots, baby. So it's been really, really great. I'm using my IT Cosmetics foundation brush with the Ordinary Serum Foundation. This foundation I've neglected. I haven't used in a while, so I figured I'd bring it out because it's a serum-y one, and so it's a little more moisturizing, which is what I need right now in the winter months. I still go with powder on top because I love powder. I can't get away from powder. But really, with this kind of foundation, I probably won't need powder. It's not tacky. It doesn't feel like I need to set it. It's really nice. It's really, really nice. But I am going to put a little bit of concealer on and powder on top of that just to set it. So, be right back. Okay, so I've been using my Maybelline Fit Me concealer for under eyes, and I use the one in light. And what I've been doing when I don't use a sponge, and right now I don't have a dampened sponge with me, is I just use my ring finger and do that. And I have to set it because if I don't set it, it will crease. So, and again, I love powder, so I would use powder anyway. I love powder because my skin used to be a little more oily. Right now, the only oily part of my skin is my nose, and that's where I need the powder. But because, and I guess I need to rethink that, but because I've always like powdered my entire face, I continue to do it. And I think I need to rethink it because now my face is not as oily. The other concealers that I've been using are these e.l.f. concealers and these e.l.f. sticks, and I have two. I have one that is more orangey. I don't know if you can see that. And then one that is more like my skin color. Let's see. Can you see that? Yeah, I think you can, right? So the orangey one I use under my eyes when I use this under my eyes. I'm not doing that today though. And then this one I use to cover blemishes, which surprisingly I don't have that many right now. And I just blend it in with my fingers. I have some marks there. This hormonal acne that I got ever since I started with my perimenopausal and now fully menopausal. Fully menopausal, people. That's why my skin is so dry now. Anyway, what I was saying about the spirituality thing, which is what I wanted to talk about, is that I've been really discovering this world of newer authors, because I was like up to the trend before when I was on top of my reading and my listening to podcasts about spirituality. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to set with my Hourglass dim light ambient powder. So I been listening to Oprah's podcast. So Oprah has this series in her Om, is it Om? No, Own channel, I think it is. Anyway, it's not on the channel, it's not on TV that I watch this. It's through podcasts, and she has this series called Super Soul Conversations. It used to be Super Soul Sundays, and I think it's now Super Soul Conversations, because I don't know that it necessarily comes out every Sunday. Where I think in the channel it comes out on Sundays. I don't know. But I listen to the podcasts, and I've been listening to the podcasts that she does, interviewing authors of books, mainly they're authors of books, and she has interviewed them to sort of highlight the book, but also to ask them questions. She has these questions that she always asks everybody that she interviews at the end of the conversation that she has with them, and it's about, well, how do you define God? How do you define, what do you think, what do you know for sure? And what is God for you? And sort of sums up, give us like a one takeaway of that sums up what your book and you are all about, kind of thing, right? So it's been really interesting, because what I've been finding is that I listen to all of these people. Coke Zero break. So I've been listening to these conversations, and I think the bottom line is that they're all sort of saying the same thing. They're all, their definition of God, albeit not exactly the same word for word, seems to be similar. And it all boils down to God being about love, and about loving others, being kind to others, being compassionate towards others, and towards yourself. A lot of them say you cannot, love anybody if you don't love yourself. Some of them talk about, identifying yourself back to God and being more like in the image of God. And I don't know. I feel like that's the takeaway from everything that I've been listening to, is just how can you be more compassionate towards others? How can you be more kind towards others and towards yourself? And then in that avenue, by doing that, you sort of discover what you're here to do, which is essentially that. But I've been questioning, so how does that translate itself into my life? What do I do with that in my day-to-day life? Do I continue doing what I'm doing, which is a very rational, intellectual, academic endeavor? that I'm trying to link to the spiritual by making a case academically for the spiritual realm in education, or am I, that's not what I should be doing and I should be doing something else, or that is what I should be doing, and the moment that I awaken spiritually, then I will be doing that in a different way, or in a better way, but still that what I'm doing. But a bronzer, the bronzer. Look at this. Look at this pan that I've touched here, that I've continued to make headway on. Isn't that incredible? It's great because I want to use this thing all up. It'll give me a sense of accomplishment, but it's not great because I'm in my no-buy year, and then once this is done, I'm gonna have to use another bronzer, and I love this one because I'm not gonna be able to repurchase it. Anyway, I don't know. I want to, I hear of these people having these awakenings and having these epiphanies and having these aha moments. And to me, all this is very aha moment, right? All of this rings really strong bells for me. Everything that they're saying, and I appreciate all that they're saying, and I get it, and at an intellectual level, but I don't know that necessarily awakening spiritually. You know what I mean? I'm gonna use the Fame palette from ColourPop. This is the cool tone one, so this is what I'm working with, and I think I'm gonna go with this Dazzle one for the crease. I like this one. I've been using this one over the past days, and I'm not really using makeup a lot these days because, well, yesterday I stayed home all day. Today I'm staying home all day, but I figured I record because I don't have any videos that I can edit or post anytime soon, so I figured I needed some footage. But I have been using this on Monday and Tuesday that I did wear makeup, or Tuesday that I wore makeup. Tuesday and Sunday? I don't know. Whenever I wore makeup last, I was using this palette. Anyway, oh, one of the things I heard in one of the podcasts today that I thought was, yes, that is the beauty of makeup, was that this woman was helping other women, right? So she has taken upon herself a mission of service in helping other women, and she, in helping them, she was, you know, this person that came in and brought resources to women in areas of war and areas of major need. And she asked the woman, okay, well, what do you want me to bring you next? You know, like, next time I come, what should I bring you? What do you really want? What can I bring you that you really want? And one of the women said, lipstick. And she was like, what? You know, like, you don't want vitamins or maybe books or, you know, something to make you healthy, or food or toilet, I don't know, lipstick, really? And she said, yeah, no, I want lipstick. I want lipstick because I want to feel pretty. And that is one way, very easy, very quick, in which I can feel pretty. Just put some lipstick on and that makes me feel pretty. And it said to her, to the woman that's doing this work, Samaritan, I want to say Samaritan, but it's not Samaritan. The word is escaping me, but it's this altruistic humanitarian work. And she said that shifted her thinking in a way, because that it helped her realize that an appreciation of beauty is also something that brings us peace. So she's working in war zones with women that are going through horrible situations and being abused left and right in every category or way imaginable. And she realized that in order to live at peace in situations like that, one of the ways that you can accomplish that is by valuing beauty. And makeup and feeling pretty and physical external appearance is a form of beauty. And if you realize that and appreciate that for what it is, then that helps, in a sense, recover something, a little bit of peace that you wouldn't have otherwise in a zone, in a war zone, right? So interesting to me, because I thought that and said, see, there's this value of makeup that makeup brings to people, to women, that is undoubtedly useful in terms of appreciation for beauty. And I think that for me, when I do my makeup, it's about creativity. It's about, what do I want to do today? How do I want to use these colors? What image do I want to portray today? What can I come up with? How can I combine these colors to create something that image-wise is going to be beautiful, or is going to make me feel beautiful, right? So I don't know, I think there's a magic in makeup and in art in general, because I see makeup as an art form that you put on your face every day. You start with a white or blank canvas. It's just canvases are white, people. I'm not saying that you have a white face. But you start out with this blank canvas, and you can do whatever you want. It's so, I mean, the possibilities are endless, right? So for some reason it stopped filming. I think the camera got fed up with me talking. But anyway, I'm doing a really simple look because, again, I'm not going anywhere today. I'm just staying home, but I figured I would share this. So that's how my eyes are looking like. I still have the Botox situation going on, so I have to pull up my eyebrows. But I used Dazzle in the crease. I used, what is that called? Center Stage to highlight my brow bone. And then I used Clubhouse, this one down here, to deepen the outer corner. So Dazzle, Clubhouse, and no. Oh my God. It's not Dazzle. It's Razzle. I can't see. I'm going to Warby Parker tomorrow to get some glasses, to get an optometrist to check my prescription. Razzle. Razzle, Center Stage, Clubhouse. Those are the ones that I used. I think I'm going to do some sort of sparkly something on the lid. Let's see. Let us see. I don't have a lot of light here, so it's hard. Okay, well, in any case, going back to what I was saying about the spirituality and the books, and I feel like everybody's doing something different. Everybody, I mean, that Oprah's interviewing and having conversations with is doing something different. Like, this woman her mission of service is about helping women in war zone situations and helping to get them the resources that they need and raising money. It's called Women for Women, her organization. Other people have been, help others, in anybody that wants to be helped in terms of spiritual awakening and how to achieve that. Others look at it from a spiritual partnership, so they help couples and people that are in partnerships, and how do you sort of get the most out of your partnership from a spiritual perspective. So those folks have also are also working in the spiritual realm, but from that different perspective. Others, she interviewed a man who has this incredible voice, who's a singer that she met when she lived here in Baltimore, and his mission is to help African American boys. He's an African American man, and he has 3 African American sons, and while he was performing at a prison with prisoners and their families, realized that these kids, these African American boys, had really lost their hope in life because of what had happened to their father that was imprisoned, and because of what they had done, and the expectancy that they have socially. And so he's dedicated his life and his foundation to helping these children. I just used Dazzle. Now this one is Dazzle. This one's Dazzled, this one's Razzled. I used both of those. And then this one to deepen, Clubhouse, and then this one, Center Stage, to lighten the Bravo. I use those for. I really like this palette. It's a really good day-to-day palette that you can take into a really smoky direction if you want, with these darker colors. But these right here are shimmers and mattes that are perfect for me to do an everyday eye look, and the pigmentation of the shadows is great. The colors, at least for my skin tone and for what I like to wear on a day-to-day basis, is perfect. It's great. It's great. Let me show you what my eyes look like. The Botox situation has to end so I can start. I'm getting there. It's a little bit better, but still not. I have a little more movement in my eyebrows, is what I'm trying to say, but I still don't have all the movement I used to have before the Botox gone wrong incident. Anyway, I'm going to get a little bit of under the eye or the waterline with my Lottie London AM to PM in Mocha. I love this thing, use it every day. I went through one, and this was my backup, and now I'm going through this one too because I use it every day, and I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do when it's done because I have other liners. I have a lot of liners, none like this one. I'm gonna put a little bit of lip balm before I do my lips, and this is Sugar Petal, the fresh line of lip balms, fresh sugar in petal. It's a light pink one. Let's see, what else can I do? I can do a little bit of highlighter, which I'm using my Essence one. I love this. I saw the other day someone declutter it, and I'm like, what? That's the only highlighter I would leave in my collection if I could only have one, which I don't have just one. I have several, right? But if I could only have one highlighter, I would keep this one because this is the one I use every day. And to be honest, sometimes I don't like to use highlighter. I don't like that artificial glow, and it looks really weird in like office lighting. I don't like that. But this is perfection because it's very natural looking. Okay, so let me do something with my brows and my eyelashes. Eyelashes first and brows second. Yeah, so all of these people that Oprah has been interviewing, that I've been listening to in the podcast, I feel like they do different things, right? Some have been Sufi masters, Some have are sort of like secluded, kind of live a little bit like a monk life in somewhere in Asia. Others have foundations, like these people that I just mentioned, the lady that's doing the women's work, this gentleman that's doing the African American boys' work. The people are doing different things, right? Some people, the couple that's doing the spiritual partnership, everybody's doing something different, so it looks different, but I think the essence is the same: to help people, to be kind to people, to help people find their spiritual journey, their spiritual calling. This is the Maybelline Total Temptation mascara. I've been using this lately because my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, which I was using to death, finally died. So it's really dry. I kind of still use it, try to get the little extra bits out of it, but it's really dry, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to get much out of it for longer. I haven't pulled it out to my empties bin, but I should, because really it's done. So I've been using this one, and using those two, I realized that I like the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara better than this one, even when it's dried out. I feel like it gives me better lashes. The length of them is better. The fluffiness, the density, it gives me volume. Whereas this one gives me a little bit of length and definition, but it doesn't really give me volume. So I don't really love. I like this one, but it's not my favorite, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, so going back to these people, I think that need to clean up. Do you see right there? Need to clean up. I feel like what these people are saying is the same thing, bottom line. And their definition of God, whereas they use different words. Some people say, well, it's everything. He's everything. He's everywhere. Some people say he's genderless, but they still call him a he. I guess it's just cultural, you know. That's what we've grown up to believe in, at least in this Western society, that God is a he. I particularly think it's more of an it, because it's more of an energy source. I don't think that I think God is genderless. So there's no gender to God. And if I were to, they call God the Father, you know, and to a sense God is the Father, but he's also, or it is also the mother. So I feel like, I don't know. In any case, they're all, to me, they're all saying the same thing. Hold please. Okay, I'm back. So I have my e.l.f. brow pencil in taupe. I have my NYX Control Freak clear brow gel, and I have my Essence Make Me Brow, what is this, eyebrow gel mascara. Okay, so I'm going to start with combing my brows up a bit with the spoolie, then filling them in a bit with the pencil. Is this the right one? Yeah, this is taupe. Oh, I know what this is. I'm like, why is this so pointy? It's brand new because I went through an older one. I used it all up, and this was my backup. This is another one. Once this is done, I'm gonna have to start using other ones that I have here in use, because again, it's my no buy year. I can't buy anything unless I'm completely out of that category. So Oh man, I guess that's what I wanted to say in terms of spirituality. That I've been thinking that all of these spiritual gurus, spiritual masters, enlightened folks that write these books that are really, really informative, at the end of the day are all saying the same thing. And that is interesting to me because they come from very different backgrounds. Their awakening experiences were different. The way that they find their spiritual expression and the way in which they fulfill their spiritual mission is different. And yet I think the overall message, the overall underlying message is the same. And that to me is really, really interesting. And I think it's something that I've known a long time, because when I look at different religions, I completely agree, and a lot of these people say the same thing, that all the religions, the essence of them all is the same. They're all talking about the same thing. Sort of be kind, good, nice to others, and try to live your life as God, whatever your God looks like or is. Try to live it in that essence. And God is not a punitive, jealous, action counting entity. God is energy, and it's pure good energy that brings you out of the darkness and into the light. So I think that is the same for every religion. So even if you do live your spiritual mission through religiosity or through a religious practice, then it doesn't matter, because in essence it's the same thing. So I don't know, it's just all very simple. I think that's the word. It's all very simple. I'm using Jouer's Adore Blush Duo, and this one has Adore Me and Hold Me. Adore Me is the darker color and Hold Me is the lighter one. So this is Adore Me and this is Hold Me, and I'm gonna use both. I like to go with the darker first and put it, everywhere. And it's darker, but this color is really, really light. Yeah, so I think that's my takeaway so far. I'm loving them. I'm loving listening to these podcasts. I listen to them in the morning when I walk Max. I'm listening to a podcast. And then, look at the Max right there, sleeping to his little heart's content. I mean, this is the life, man. Who would have that life? I think next time around I'm going to come as a dog. As a house dog that has a family like Max's. I want Max's life. Anyway, yeah. One thing though, I feel I'm loving these podcasts. I listen to them when I walk Max. I listen to them sometimes in the car when I'm going places. Like when I went to New York a couple weeks ago, I drove there and drove back. I was listening. I think I was listening to a audiobook on my way there, and once the audiobook was done, on the way back I was just listening to podcasts. And it is incredible, all the enlightenment, everything that I can learn from these podcasts. But I don't know, I think I have to concentrate a little more on my spiritual work in order for me to open myself up to enlightenment, to have the experiences that they're talking about in the book actually happen to me, like to have that kind of epiphany occur, to have that enlightenment. I'm using here the Ultimate Lip from LA Girl in the color, I think it's something naked. Non-stop nude. Nothing. Not naked. Non-stop nude. And it's a really light color. So maybe dedicate more time. I meditate every morning. So the first thing I do when I open my eyes in the morning is grab my phone, open the Calm app, and listen to a 10-minute meditation, guided meditation session. Sometimes I fall back asleep, and sometimes I complete it, and I'm really into it, and I finish it all. The 10 minutes or 12 minutes worth of the meditation. That's how I start my day. So I do that every day. I feel like that's not enough. So if meditation is going to be the way for me to access my spiritual calling, 10 minutes or 12 minutes a day is not going to be enough. The other thing I'm doing is I'm going to yoga, but I'm going to yoga very sporadically. So I haven't been able to keep a schedule to go to yoga consistently in a consistent way every week, or on the same days, or even the same amount of times, like 1 or 2 or 3 times a week. I can't. I haven't been more than twice a week, the weeks that I've been the most, and often it's just once a week that I can make it there. So that, I don't know, that hasn't been very helpful because I'm not consistent with it. And the other thing that also hasn't been helpful, I'm going to use this Dose of Color truffle. It's a mini. It's a liquid lip, a matte liquid lip, but I tend to put a lip gloss on top of it because I don't really like matte lips. But so the other thing is that, all right, other area of spiritual inspiration is coming from these podcasts and books. So those are the 3 things that I'm doing. The meditation, the yoga, which is not consistent at all. The meditation is consistent, but the yoga is not. And then these podcasts and listening to these podcasts, which has been very inspirational. And I'm reading books on spirituality for my academic work. But I feel like it's not enough. Either I need to dedicate more time to meditation, or I need to make the yoga more consistent, and I need to continue reading these books, and something I want to incorporate is prayer. I think that prayer is going to be very helpful. I heard a podcast, and this was going to blow your socks off. I heard a podcast, another interview that Oprah did with a medical doctor who had sort of broken the medical paradigm about prayer. And he said that when he started looking at this back in, I think it's the 90s or the 80s, looking at prayer as a healing source, he found that there was very few research, like randomized trial research studies that proved that prayer served as a healing tool. There was very few, but nowadays there's many, many more. And what he's finding is that it's undoubtedly so proven through these studies, these randomized empirical studies, in which, for example, there was one that was not only a 2-way blind study, but it was a 3-way blind study where you had a person in, say, San Francisco praying for a person in Asia, and the medical doctor didn't know who this person was or who the patients, they were randomly chosen and blindly chosen. So the doctor didn't really know, administering the treatment didn't really know who was getting it and who wasn't. The patients didn't really know who was getting it and who wasn't. And the person praying for them in San Francisco didn't really know who they were praying for or So it was a 3-way blind test, and they found that it was undoubtedly so that the people that were being prayed for were getting better. versus those that were not. So the power of prayer in terms of energetic waves in quantum energy that moves around from one point to the next helped those people improve their health. And so there's just so much in prayer to become enlightened, prayer to find your spiritual path, prayer to just better yourself as a person, or even accomplish things that you want to accomplish in life. That's the way to go. So I really need to get into prayer more, and I think that maybe that will be the way for me to sort of open up my spiritual self again. We tap into that. I'm using Scandinavia, the makeup finishing spray, the bridal one. This is great for mattifying, and it's great for extending the life of your makeup. And now I'm just blowing my face with this fan to dry myself up a bit. But I think if I continue with meditation, if I make yoga a little bit more consistent, if I continue with my podcast and my readings for spiritual inspiration, and I couple that with prayer, I think that maybe that's going to be the way. That's going to be the gateway entry point for me to reconnect with my spirituality and my spiritual self. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I like to do this at the end. Go in with a fluffy brush with nothing in it, so there's no extra powder in it. Then I just go in and mesh everything together after I put in my setting spray, because then it tames the setting spray a little bit, so I don't look as wet or as oily if it was an oilier kind of setting spray. But also it kind of meshes everything together makeup wise, and I can start seeing if there were any like imperfections or things. I think I went a little too hard with the brows today. They look a little bit intense. But yeah, that's it. That's the finished look. I'm not going to be wearing my ears all day, so I'm going to put those away. My hair needs washing, so that's why it's up in a bun. But yeah, that's it. That's my finished look and my finished thoughts on spirituality and how I can make it a little bit more prevalent in my life, and how I can help myself open up those spiritual gates. Yeah. I'm off to work now. That's another thing. I've been thinking, I have so much to do work-wise, and is that taken away from my spiritual growth? And if so, then what does that mean? Does that mean that I'm not dedicating my life work-wise to something spiritual, and I should? Or could I incorporate more spirituality in the work I do and continue doing the same work I'm doing, but with a more spiritual angle, or with a more spiritual sense to it, or more, I don't know. This is what I'm thinking about, and I just wanted to share as I got ready for my day. I will see you again soon. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for listening to my ramblings. All the products I use will be linked and listed below, and so if you want to check them out, you can. These are basically stuff that I've been using on a daily basis, and things that are tried and true that I've loved for a long time. Maxi. Telling you, it's the life, man. It's the life. Thank you for stopping by. See you later. Bye.